Hi. Like he said, I'm here today to talk about concussions in football. I'm a graduate student here on campus. I'm also an athletic trainer, but I'm also a member of the Purdue Neurotrauma Group. The Purdue Neurotrauma Group is a collaboration between athletic trainers and engineers on campus, and we're trying to tackle the problem of concussions in football. Now, I played a lot of sports growing up, and the highlight of what have been my athletic career would have been to be in Sports Illustrated. So you can't believe how excited I was when our group made the October 2010 issue. Yes, bucket list, right? But how did a bunch of engineers and athletic trainers get to be in Sports Illustrated? It's not exactly what you would think. Well, it's because we had just completed a study in a local high school trying to understand why some players get concussions and others don't. So what we had done is we went to the high school, asked for volunteers from the football team, and then we put sensors in their helmets. Those are the red dots in the picture to the left. Now, these sensors measured the number of impacts they took to the head each season, and also their location and their magnitude. Then we gave them tests of brain function. The first is a computerized neurocognitive test, or as one player told me, it's pretty much the most boring video game on the face of the earth. Then we put them in an MRI machine, like the picture on the right, and had them do memory tasks, kind of like playing the card game Memory you did when you were a little kid on a really long car trip, in the machine so we could watch how their brain changed over time. Then we went to football games and practices. Like the Postal Service, we were out there, rain or shine. We also had them come back and repeat those brain function tasks throughout the season. At the end, as we expected, the players with concussions performed worse on those tests than their unconcussed teammates. Well, generally. Surprisingly, about half of the players who didn't have a concussion, no symptoms or signs at all whatsoever, did as badly on those tests as their concussed teammates. This is totally unprecedented. Nobody had ever seen this change before. And this is why we got to be in Sports Illustrated. But there's been a lot of media attention about footballs and brain damage and concussions and what do they do in the long term. And some of it, quite honestly, is pretty scary. Another headline, is football giving me brain damage? And then, should we even keep playing the game? Football is dead. This is some pretty scary stuff. So, the first question, is everybody who plays football going to be brain damaged? No, we don't believe so. But we have to understand that football is a risky sport. It's kind of like if you chose to not wear your seatbelt when you're driving your car, or not wear your helmet when you're riding your bike. There could be consequences to those risks. So what is it about football that makes it risky? I know what a lot of your brains are jumping to right now. It's that big hit that's making SportsCenter's top 10 every Saturday and Sunday in the fall. But actually, our research shows that it's probably those little hits that they're going to take every day at practice that may be the more damaging. Now, this is a helmet map. Now, imagine if I took a football helmet and I could unravel it and lay it flat in front of me into like a nice square. And that's what this picture is. Every dot on this map is a hit to the head, and not a, oops, I accidentally dropped my helmet. We've taken those out. These are all real on-field hits. The color of the dot indicates how hard those hits were. Yellow, orange, and red dots are going to be harder than the blue dots. This is a player who didn't have a concussion at all. Players in this group averaged about 50 hits in a week. This is a map of a player who did have a concussion. They took a few more hits, but generally it's pretty similar to the one preceding it. Players in this group averaged about 60 hits in a week. Now this map is from the group that didn't have any symptoms, but did do badly on our tests. And as you can see, they took a lot more blue hits. So this is why we believe it's these repetitive damaging hits that are so dangerous. Players in this group averaged about 120 hits in a week. And in fact, we had one player that took 2,000 hits over the course of the season, or 154 hits in a week. So what really happens when you hit your head? Is your brain like Jell-O, sloshing around over there, slamming into your skull? Thankfully not. Otherwise, every time you sneeze, you'd be in really big trouble. So I'm going to show you a video. This is in an MRI, and somebody's laying down, and all they're doing is turning their head to the side. And I want you to see how the brain moves. Wow, that's kind of cool, right? It kind of is like Jell-O, But the important thing here is that it's not hitting the skull or the side of the head. That's because your brain is tethered down. It's protected that way, kind of like how you would tether a boat to a dock. It can move around a little bit, but really it's not going to go anywhere. However, if you get, say, hit by a 250-pound lineman, those tethers are going to pull on your brain and probably damage it. And this is what we believe is causing a concussion. But you may be surprised to know we don't actually know what happens when you get a concussion. Are your blood vessels tearing? Are neurons shearing? Are metabolites in your brain changing? Is it something else altogether? We really don't know. So that's why the first thing we need to do is discover. We need to do more research. How can we fix a problem if we don't understand what that problem is? And then we need to educate. Not only do we need to educate players and parents and coaches about what we know and the risks of playing football, we need to educate each other. Our group is the perfect example of why you need to share ideas with other people who aren't in your department or don't do what you do. It's not many times people would put athletics and engineering together, and to that fact, especially athletics, engineering, and Sports Illustrated. So then the last thing we need to do is create new technologies. Are there ways to make the helmet safer? Can we do something to a field that will make it safer so when you land on it, it won't hurt your head so much? I don't know. These are things we need to investigate in the future. As a parting point, I'm going to remind everybody that about 100 years ago, President Roosevelt actually wanted to outlaw football because so many people were dying playing the sport. We responded by changing the technologies and creating it, and that by doing that, we continued to play the game. And we can do that again today. We can continue to play football, but we can play it safer. Thank you.